Hey there, been a book deck here. Today's my entire phone collection is July 1st, 2026. I have 160 phones and 7 tablets, so this makes for 167 devices. Now, there's a few warnings I should put out. First off, I have only gotten 2 phones since the last update, but it's because our next update will be in November, so yeah, expect that. There's gonna be a lot more modern smartphones than you think, if I can afford all them that money. Second off, you may have noticed I organized the smartphones and smartphones pretty close to the tablets, also a bit of basic phones. Now, first of all, I may actually take a break from collecting tablets. So if this gets too cluttered, then I won't include tablets anymore in the next few collection videos. Also, I'm gonna go through this slow and tidy. If you hear noise, that's because my dad is watching Netflix right now. He got tired of trying to watch FIFA. Woke up 26. Anyway, here we start. Here's the smartphones. Here's my Motorola Moto G35. This one's water damaged, but it did warm up recently. Here's my TCL 201. I never charged this thing, mainly because there's a broken charging port, so it's at 1%, it could turn off at any moment. This one works on Android 11 Go Edition, however the screen is so bad on camera because it uses QVGA display. That's actually my only smartphone does this. Here's my Redvolt L. Please note that when you see a phone like this cheaper ones, it's usually meant to be a burner. A phone that may actually come as a secondary to some people because this has limited specifications, like a Unisoc chipset. This one works on a charger and bugs out with audio. It runs Android 11 Go Edition. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Z03 Core. This one freezes in the charging screen. Here's my Samsung Galaxy A03. My parents are also talking here. This one, I believe, works well for broken display since I only really tested in the charger. Here's my Motorola Moto A20. This one's my backup phone. This one's my grandma's old phone. Sometimes have to stop holding the power button in order for it to actually turn on. This one works, it's on Android 11 Go Edition. Here's my Motorola Moto 7 Plus. This one only works on the very left side of the display. Here's my Motorola Moto 7. This one's my old phone. The reason why I have to lay down this when turning it on is because the power button is a bit hard to press. And you also have to press it all on in the middle. Otherwise, this one's on Android 10. Here's my LG K22 Plus. I believe this one works well for broken displays since I only really tested it on the charger. Here's my Samsung Galaxy A80. This one's very known for its rotating camera. This phone's display doesn't work, but it actually works. Here's my TCL Semco 3C Plus. That is a pretty long name. And a phone with a long name already tells you what it's supposed to be. This thing doesn't work. Some of these phones that don't work, most of them, actually have a battery compartment that doesn't fill with any of my batteries. So this will be judged based on if I tested it with a battery I already have that quite doesn't fit it, I don't know. Next up, here's my Multi-Laser E-Lite. This thing's also a burner phone. This phone works only on the charger. This one's on Android 8.1 Go Edition. This is my earliest Go Edition phone, I think. No, this one also runs Go Edition. I'll get to that in a moment. After I talk about these. Here are two LG K9 TVs. This blue one, I believe, works, but the display is broken. And this peach one used to work, but the battery got bloated, so I had to throw it out. The battery life on that battery was miserable when it got bloated because it would drain extremely fast. This peach one's on Android 7.1.2. Here's my Motorola Moto G7 Plus. This was my mom's old main phone. Very old. I don't have a newer old one. this one in particular works only on the charger with the broken display. This one's upgraded to Android 10. Here's my Motorola Moto G6 Plus going a generation down. I forgot to mention this, but this will be splinter parts for myself and you all. This phone works, but after the first boot, it already enters a boot loop. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J4 Plus. This one screen flight a while ago. Technically, this phone doesn't work. This is the camera here. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J8. This one in particular, I believe, works with a broken display. Yeah, sorry for that. I was just trying to adjust the camera again. Here's my Xiaomi Redmi 6A. This only shows a light on the charging screen. Here's my Motorola Moto E5 Playgo. This one does show the charging screen, can't turn on. This one runs Android 8.1 Go edition, similar to my Multilaser E-Lite, obviously, because that's what the Go stands for. Here's my Multilaser MS50G. This one only shows a light in the charging screen. It also does it without a battery, but this one didn't come with a battery. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J4 Plus. This one works, but it's a bit slow. This one's on Android 9 with One UI 1. This one's upgraded. Here's my Xiaomi Redmi 5. This one's Me account locked. I don't know how to bypass that. I think it's literally unbypassable. Here's my Motorola One. This has been breaking a bit more recently. Eventually, this phone will only need a battery as its back cover. This phone is the same issue as the G7 Plus. It only works on a charger, but also has a broken display. This one's my dad's very old phone. Again, similar to my mom, I don't have his old phone since this time it was robbed. But I do have a box of his old phone. No, it's his current song. And the one my mom used to own. The old one. Here's my Multilaser MS45S. This one I found the phone lot. This one is untested. This is the camera again here. Here's my Motorola Moto G5 Latam. This one I also got in the phone lot and it doesn't work. Here's my Asus Zenfone for a selfie. This one works but fails to turn on. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J2 Prime TV. This one's a phone that I've gotten after my last update. This phone works with battery issues. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J7 Prime. Albeit the screen's broken, the touch surprisingly still works, so I can still use this phone. It even works on the broken parts, I think. Yeah, I think only this part. I don't think this specific part works. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J5 Prime. This one works with a broken display. Here's my Lenovo Vibe K5. This one is Dolby Atmos. This one works, but with the screen doesn't show anything. Probably broken display. This one shuts off on its own. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J1 Mini on Clevo. This one works. This one's on Android 6.0.1. This one's on Android 8.1 or 8.0 if I remember correctly. I don't know. But it's some version of 8. I think it's 8.1. This one, the Galaxy J1 Mini, is on Android 5.1 Lollipop. Here's my LG K8 2016. This one warms up on the charger. Here's my Multilaser MS50 Colors. This one doesn't work. Moving on to the 4-row span of Google Motorola phones, which I have two missing. Here's my Motorola Moto E 2nd generation 3G. This one works, it's on Android 5.1 Lollipop. Here's my Motorola Moto G 2nd generation. This one doesn't work. I think it's water damaged. here's the last of the new ones, but also this time it isn't a phone that I've gotten after my last update. Here's my Motorola Moto E first generation. I got this today. This one only shows a light on the charging screen. And finally, to end the Google series, here we had the Motorola Moto G first generation. This one used to work, but now it only shows a light on the charging screen. It is on Android 4.4 KitKat. Moving on to the two Windows phones. Here's my Microsoft Lumia 535. This one works with battery issues. This one's on Windows Phone 8.1. Then we have Nokia Lumia 930. This one works by boot loops. I presume this one's on a Windows Phone 8.1. Sorry, again. Moving on to Android phones again though, here's my LG Prime Plus HD TV. So this camera can't focus. This one works the battery issues actually with the non-genuine battery, though the genuine battery doesn't exist for it anymore. I think it just in focus. There you go. Here's my CC Motion Plus SC452 TV. This one doesn't turn on. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Win. This one's my very old phone. My first phone. This one used to work but died. Yeah. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Star Trios. This one doesn't work. I'm starting to get a bit tired of this. But it's slow and steady so that you guys can understand what I'm saying instead of super rapid speed. Here's my LG L20. This one works, it also has a knockout thing. It's on Android 4.4.3, if I remember correctly, or 4.4.2, I don't remember. I think it's on 4.4.2. Here's my LG Optimus L42 dual TV. This phone doesn't work. Here's my Sony Ericsson Xperia Mini Pro 2. This one works, but the screen doesn't work. Here are two MIL AN400s. Let's see, it's on switch. Oh. This one has been switching hands over the years, and most recently I got this one in 2026. And this one I got in 2024. Both don't work. However, one did come for battery, but it doesn't fit this phone. I don't have any battery like it, but I tested offers and it didn't work, I think. Here's my Sony Ericsson Life of Walkman. This one works, but with a lock code. Specifically, a pattern. Here's my Samsung Galaxy 5 on 2. This phone works, but it's picky about charging. It's on Android 2.2. It's updated firmware. Anyways, this is part 1 of my entire phone collection as of July 1st, 2026. I hope you liked it, but it's still steady. And peace.